On the news, opposition senators give President Buhari 6-week ultimatum to tackle insecurity, threatening impeachment. Federal government assures Nigerians of determination to tackle security challenges. And Nigeria Labour Congress embark on massive protest in Abuja. It's good to have you join us on News Now this evening. I am Abisola Adebayo. Opposition lawmakers in the Senate have given a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to fix the nation's security challenges or face impeachment. The minority leader of the Senate, Senator Philip Saduda, made this known while addressing journalists at a press briefing in Abuja. Our correspondent Folashade Oguride tells us more in this next report.
These senators are not exiting the Senate chamber at the end of plenary, but rather staging a walkout on the Senate's President Hamid Lawan after he allegedly refused the minority leader, Senator Philip Aduda, to lead the motion on the impeachment of President Muhammadu Buhari. During plenary, Senator Aduda had raised the point of order, asking the Senate President Hamid Lawan to discuss the security situation in the country and the impeachment of the president. But Senator Lawan, who presided over the plenary, declined the request of the minority leader, thus the walkout by opposition senators. At a press briefing, the Senate's minority leader, Philip Aduda, said the president has just 6 weeks to find lasting solution to the nation's security crisis. He also threatened to commence impeachment proceedings if no results are recorded at the expiration of the ultimatum.
At the closed session, we agreed that we will give the president an ultimatum that failing which, if it is not complied with, will move immediately to give an impeachment notice. And this we agreed at the executive session, at closed door session. So when we came out of the closed door session, we expected that the Senate president will brief the public on the issues that have happened, but however, that did not happen. So we have come here in protest to brief you and to let you know that we're with Nigerians in this struggle and that we're worried that nowhere is safe in Nigeria. And as such, we have come out of the, we walk out of the chambers in protest that the security situation in Nigeria is deteriorating and urgent steps needs to be completely taken to ensure that these issues are curbed immediately.
Aduda, who represents the Federal Capital Territory in the upper legislative chamber, raised the alarm that despite several resolutions reached by the National Assembly on the state of the nation, on different occasions the president has failed to act on any.
We have come here to say that we have passed so many resolutions in which on security, and we have given all the support, we have given all the enablement, we have given all the appropriation that they need.
For weeks now, the country has seen an increase in terrorist attacks, the latest being the loss of 3 soldiers when the Guards Brigade 7th Battalion ran into an ambush by gunmen on Sunday. In the meantime, the Senate has commenced a 7-week annual recess following the adjournment of Wednesday's plenary by Senate President Hamid Lawan till September 20th, 2022. Folashade Ogurinde, TV360 News.
Moving on, amid rising concern over the nation's security situation, the federal government is assured that it has everything under control. Speaking at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja on Wednesday, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said while the menace of insecurity is not exclusive to Nigeria alone, the federal government is doing everything within its power to ensure that perpetrators are brought to book. He also urged Nigerians not to lose hope in the government.
I want to reassure you that the government is up to the task of ensuring security. Security challenges will come anywhere in the world. The important thing is the fact that you do not lose focus and you continue to work assiduously to overcome it. I want to assure you we are going to overcome.
Well, joining me on the news to discuss the threat of the senators is Liberal Sharma, who is a legal practitioner. Mr. Sharma, thank you very much for joining us on the news. I'd like to ask you, the minority caucus in the Senate, they've given President Muhammadu Buhari a 6 weeks ultimatum to tackle the issue of insecurity in the country or face impeachment. What do you make of this?
I think even though I do not believe that the senators will be able to carry that through, considering the fact that they are minority, but I believe it is high time we wake the president up. If Mr. President is sleeping, I think somebody needs to wake him up. And if I'm also not happy with the position of the Senate president, because I think he should have, for the at least sake of his political party, even allow the minority senators to have their say. That might probably wake up Mr. President to the reality of ground, because I doubt if Mr. President actually gets briefings on the security situation in Nigeria. And for these terrorists to be so emboldened to even attacking members of the National Guard, that is supposed to be the strongest arm of the Nigerian military. And then to kill, soldiers as if you are slaughtering a chicken. And then it's as if we are begging them. Terrorists will kidnap people on the soil of Nigeria, remain on the soil of Nigeria for days, since March till date, and the people are still held in captive. And this was the same reasons we voted out the previous government. And then, the minister is coming to tell you that, yes, everybody have their challenges, who overcome it. Nobody is saying that the president should solve all the problems today. But let us see concrete and concerted effort that you have some Okada riders who come, ride Okada to your correctional services right there in the heart of Abuja in Kuje, and then, free their members. And there is no response from the Army 1 Div in Kaduna, which is about not up to 20 minutes, flight away from Abuja there, and then the heart of the seat of government. For me, all of these things, are pointers to the fact that we have completely lost it, and somebody needs to wake Mr. President. If it is the impeachment that would wake him up, let them go ahead with it. But I doubt if they'll be able to see, carry that through.
This leads me to my next question. Does the minority caucus really have the power to impeach the president? Kindly tell us what the position of the law is about this situation.
Yeah, the position is it's quite clear. A notice will be served by the House, and a committee will be set up. And that's why I say I wonder if they'll be able to carry it through. But if it will wake up the Mr. President, because it's the minority, they don't have the capacity, because it is the committee will be set up by vote of the members of the National Assembly, and then they are in the minority. And if the members votes, that the committee be set up, the Speaker, the Senate President will set up, such committee, and at the end of the day would recommend whether that the allegations had been substantiated, and then before they now begin to establish, a 7-man committee that will invite the president to hear his own side of the story. So all of these are long processes, and that's But the attitude of the Senate president, for me, had not been encouraging, whether they will see it through or not. But by and large, the president has said he's tired and is not ready to leave. And if he's still ready to work, then he wake up from his slumber.
Well, legal practitioner Liberal Soshoma, thank you so much for your insights and thank you for joining us on the news. Moving on, lawmaker representing Sokoto East Central District, Ibrahim Gobir, has been named the new leader of the Senate and chairman of the All Progressives Congress Caucus. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, made this announcement on Wednesday during plenary. He said Senator Gobir's appointment followed receipt of a letter from the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Adamu. Until his elevation, Gobir was the chairman of the Senate Committee on National Intelligence and Security.
Progressives Congress, Your Excellency, nomination of Senate Leader and Chairman Senate APC Caucus. Please accept our compliments in the best of tradition. With reference to your letter number NAS 9S/SP/D/12-12 dated 16 June 2022, in which you informed the party of the vacancy for the office of the Senate leader of our party. Accept herewith the party's nomination of Senator Ibrahim Abdullahi Gobir, Sokoto East Senatorial District, as replacement for the Senate leader and chairman APC Senate Caucus. While thanking you for the usual cooperation, please accept the assurances of my best regards. Signed, Senator Dr. Abdullah Adamu, CON, Turakin Kafi, National Chairman.
The Nigerian Labour Congress have taken to the streets of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to protest the lingering strike action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. ASU embarked on a nationwide strike action on February 14th over the welfare of university lecturers, poor funding of universities, among other demands. In solidarity with the association, the NLC decided to embark on the nationwide protest, asking the federal government to meet the demands of the lecturers so that the public universities can resume operations. There's details in this next report. Leadership and members of the Nigerian Labour Congress and its affiliated unions, civil society organizations, human rights activists trooped out in their numbers, chanting solidarity songs, carrying placards bearing different inscriptions. The protesters took off at the Unity Fountain in Abuja, straight to the National Assembly. Their demands are simple: the end to the 5-month-old strike action that have crippled activities in public universities across the country. They are asking the federal government, by all means, to heed the demands of the university lecturers that have decided to down tools due to poor welfare.
We have sent the message very clear and loud that we will not allow few political elites to destroy the future of millions of Nigerian youth. Most of them that are holding office today benefited from free quality public university education. If you have your children at home for 4 months, adults for 5 months, adults for 51 months, for 55 months, then you know what we are talking about. If you are investing in education, you are not doing anybody a favor. You are investing in the human capital for your economy. You are preparing the future of the land. What is happening now is the failure of the generation. It's not we that have failed, but the leaders have failed.
Leadership of the striking lecturers are also at the forefront of these protests. They reiterated the importance of education to the development of every society, asking the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration to do the needful.
This system must change. Nigeria must change, and Nigeria will change from the outcome of you. When you go around the countries, the world, Nigerians are doing so well intellectually. But you come home, the environment is such a way that there is no way you can perform. The laboratories are rotting, no training, nothing. So that is the problem we are having, and we must change this system.
On getting to the National Assembly, The wheeled protesters were received by the lawmakers who apparently have been expecting them. Addressing the protesters, Senator Ajayi Borofis explained that the lawmakers are not folding their arms. He expressed confidence that the protracted strike action would soon be over.
There is no country in the world, no civilized country in the world, where students in the university will be away from classroom for 5 months, not to talk of 8 months, not to talk of more. So we are with you. I confirm the receipt of this letter from the NLC in respect of your struggle. The struggle continues. Aluta continua.
This is the second day of the protest, which commenced with similar demonstrations in several parts of the country. The leadership of the NLC has since threatened the federal government that this is just a tip of the iceberg. They say if the lecturers' demands are still not met at the end of this protest, the union will embark on a 3-day warning strike to further press home their demands. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 News. Persons with disabilities have bemoaned the continued spate of social exclusion from the scheme of things in the country, calling for an immediate stop to the situation. The group made the call during a sensitization program in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, on Tuesday. Speaking at the event, the Executive Director of the Center for Citizens with Disabilities, David Anyele, explains that the exclusion of PWDs in the society is impacting the country's economy negatively. Our correspondent, Emeka Amako, compiled this report from Abuja. According to reports, 1 in every 8 Nigerians live with at least one form of disability or the other. But this group of people are often faced with myriad of challenges, from stigmatization to discrimination, barriers to accessing basic social services and economic opportunities in the country. This situation has led to increased poverty, lack of economic independence, health challenges, and continued dependence on others for sustenance. Some even end up on the streets, begging and scavenging for food to survive. To tackle these challenges, authorities passed the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act in 2018, but the implementation of that act remains a pipe dream.
As the 2023 budget is being drafted across board, I would only like to encourage that as we share this knowledge, identify areas you can push for the mainstreaming of issues of critical concern to people with disabilities in the 2023 budgetary proposals.
Lack of employment opportunities is one major challenge the PWDs have always faced. Government officials at this sensitization program revealed that the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration is not relenting on its urge to ensure majority of PWDs in the country are employed.
Issue of discrimination is dealt with in our ministries, in our agencies, and not only that, we also want to see that this opportunity for employment is kept in view. 5% should be held on to, because this is what will make us to have what we call an inclusion.
The birth of the National Disability Act 2018 is therefore a welcome development, as it is sufficiently robust to address persons with disability. It is also in line with the social development goals objectives of social inclusion.
Participants at the event also urged law enforcement agencies to enforce the compliance of the 20% allocation to persons with disabilities across ministries, departments, and agencies of the government.
The Inspector General of Police, I approved the establishment of disability desk offices in all police departments nationwide. And I was appointed to coordinate the desk officers. And the core of the establishment of that desk was to ensure that, and is to ensure that persons with disability have unfettered access to policing services nationwide.
The over 31 million persons living with disabilities in Nigeria is a growing number. Opportunities for inclusion are shrinking. This situation has since heightened calls for more opportunities to be made available for persons living with disabilities by putting adequate mechanisms in place to make life easier for them. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 News. Well, we'll take a break now, but still to come, African Development Bank and IMF urge African nations to mobilize 1.6 trillion naira by 2030. Details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. Opposition lawmakers in the Senate have given a 6-week ultimatum to President Muhammadu Buhari to fix the nation's security challenges. Speaking at a press briefing after the minority caucus staged a walkout, the minority leader, Senator Philip Aduda, also threatened to commence impeachment proceedings if no results are recorded at the expiration of the ultimatum. Well, we also told you that amid rising concern over the nation's security situation, the federal government is assured that it has everything under control. Speaking at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja on Wednesday, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said while the menace of insecurity is not exclusive to Nigeria alone, the federal government is doing everything within its power to ensure that perpetrators are brought to book. And in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Authorities in Wuhan, China have ordered some businesses and public transport to close after discovering 4 COVID-19 cases in the sprawling city where the pandemic first emerged. Wuhan's Jiangxia district, home to nearly 1 million residents, said on Wednesday that it would ban large group events and dining at restaurants, close certain public entertainment venues and agricultural markets, as well as suspend bus and subway services for the next 3 days. Authorities also urged residents not to leave the area during the 3-day period and travelers to avoid entry into the country. Well, we'll take another break now and return with more stories in business. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Well, we have Simisola Adigun standing by to give us the latest in business. Simisola, what's the latest?
Many thanks, Abisola. Welcome to business. The African Development Bank and the International Monetary Fund, IMF, have urged African leaders to mobilize funds to fight climate change. The institution made this known at a panel discussion on the 2022 African Economic Outlook in Washington, D.C. Speaking at the event, the AFDB's acting chief economist, Kevin Orama, explained that Africa has huge comparison comparative advantages to lead the world in this new green transition, but lacks the capital to do so. According to him, African countries need to mobilize $1.6 trillion between 2022 and 2030 to meet their nationally determined contributions to fight climate change. We'll take a short break here and be back with Stock Market Review. Investors have been switching assets in favor of fixed income securities in the last 3 days of trading, causing the Nigerian stocks to shed over 960 billion naira. So 3 days of declining bargain hunting activities on the local bourse equals 3 consecutive days of negative closes. Now on Wednesday, the all-share index and market capitalization dropped to 50,188 basis points and 27 trillion naira respectively. The bearish sentiment is led by Jais Bank PLC and Custodian Allied PLC, both losing 7 naira to cover, while top advancers FCMB and Nascon Allied Industries PLC earn a combined 14 naira 20 kobo. On the activity chart, we see that in 4,977 deals, a total of 829 million volume of shares valued at over 4 billion naira were traded. Major global stock market advanced on Wednesday as traders braced for a possible sharp interest rate hike by the Federal Reserve to calm surging inflation. So there you have it. All three of our foreign stocks, the UK's FTSE, US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei, all end in the greens. Meanwhile, the Fed is expected to announce an increase of up to 0.75 of a percentage point in its benchmark interest rate, triple its usual margin. Well, that's it on Stock Market Review. Abisola, back to you.
Thank you very much, Simisola. Moving on to the foreign scene, the death toll following a suicide explosion in the Somali coastal town of Marka has increased to at least 20. The Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab has said it carried out the attack. In a separate incident, 6 people were killed in an explosion in the town of Afgoye. In Mogadishu itself, security officials said 2 Al-Shabaab fighters died when the explosives went off before they could carry out an attack. Well, it's time for entertainment report on News Now.
Organizers of the Headies Awards have disqualified singer Habib Okikiola, aka Portable, from the list of nominees after he threatened to kill his co-nominees. Portable had on May 25, 2022, threatened to kill or cause harm to the other nominees in the same categories of awards he was nominated for if he did not emerge the winner, that in the Rookie of the Year and Best Street Hop Artist categories. In a statement issued by the organizers on Tuesday, Portable was disqualified from its 15th nominees list to further pass a strong message of not condoning reckless and uncouth statements. It also cited a series of misdemeanors via Portable's social media platforms, adding that the singer is the subject of an investigation relating to criminal activities. These are good times for Nigerian stars Tems, Burna Boy, Fields and Bixen, as former President of the United States of America Barack Obama has included them in his 2022 summer playlist. Obama shared the playlist on his Instagram platform on Tuesday. Every year, Obama compiles a list of some of his favorite songs around the world and gets excited to share his summer playlist on his Instagram platform and learn about so many new artists. Obama also asked what songs are suitable enough to be included in his list. And that's all we have on the entertainment segment of News Now.
The Nigerian Senate has commended Tobi Amusan for setting a new world record in the women's 100 meters hurdles at the World Athletics Championship in Eugene, Oregon. The resolution of the Senate was sequel to a motion sponsored by Ibikunle Amosu, senator representing Ogun Central. The upper legislative chamber also asked the executive arm of the government to confer on the athlete a national honor. Amusan became the first Nigerian to win a gold medal at the World Championship with a spirited display at the competition. But that's the size of our bulletin this evening. Many thanks for watching.